Hello guys, welcome back to the crew Waldron. Driving our cars part number 68. The Mini 3 doors in Cooper S version. This thing also has a second full stock available for the simple reason that it has a street edition. In the street editions they come with a full stock and a street spec, but you can't get your hands on the other specs, which means that you still have to buy this normal full stock to get your hands on the performance and circuit specs and dirt specs that it also has, which kinda makes the street editions completely useless, other than that you get some extra customization options, some extra stickers, some extra rims, maybe some extra bumpers, I don't know exactly. I'm not into the customization part of the game. I'm more into the racing and driving around, so to me the street edition has no meaning. I've put it both of them at $12.99. They come with the same numbers, acceleration, torque, top speed and all that kind of stuff. It's exactly the same, so there's not really a point in getting the street edition. Nevertheless, this thing has a street, dirt, performance and circuit spec. 4 specs that we have to test, and let's start with the street. In the next video I will be testing the Countryman, and well, it's pretty simple. For the road specs, go for the Mini Cooper S. For the off-road specs, go for the Mini Countryman Cooper S. That's kind of where it comes down to. Because in street spec, the thing that we have here now. Let's take a look. Skyline 25.7. Other than that, 26 and even a couple of 27-second cars. Why do I mention the Skyline? Well, because this is competition. I know that people always say the Skyline is the best street spec. Well, it probably is, but it has to have some competition, and that competition comes, for some people that comes from the Subaru BRZ. For other people it comes from this Mini Cooper S, and it's probably going to lose it on acceleration. So 25.7 for the Skyline, 26.1 for this street spec. So we are losing on a mile about 4/10. But of course this is smaller, and the Skyline oversteering a bit. This thing is smaller in it's a street spec, so we're very often you're dealing with city tracks, and this thing being smaller, it can keep up with it. The dirt spec on the other hand, well, yeah, this thing is a city car and it's made to hang out in cities and drive around on the road. It's not even that bad in dirt, but the problem with that is that they have made an off-road version of this Mini. They named it Countryman, and it's also in the game, so that one is better as well in dirt as in raid, but this Mini Cooper doesn't have a raid spec, so it's only dirt here. And with 27.9, can't really call that even fast. So acceleration for the dirt spec, not really. Corners and so will not be a problem again, because it's pretty small and it will handle okay, I guess, on dirt. We'll see that later, but I know that the Countryman is not that superb in dirt. It's kinda okay in rate, it has a pretty high top speed in rate, so well, you can give it a go in rate, but in dirt it's more or less average for the Countryman. And the Cooper, Mini Cooper here, 3-doors version, it's even worse or less interesting. The performance spec, well, I'm not sure which of the two will be the better ones. Both of them being average. As well, this Mini Cooper as the Countryman in performance spec. What do we have here? Let's see. 23.6. It is above average, the acceleration, if you compare with all the 70 plus performance specs that there are. 22 seconds being top, 23 seconds being above average, 24 seconds being below, and 25, yeah, don't even talk about that. So it's somewhere in the middle of the pack acceleration wise for this performance spec. Then we come to this thing, the circuit spec. Now, that might be a bit of a different situation, because this circuit spec is also, just like the street spec, not bad at all. I don't know if that will be available to look at in the numbers here on an acceleration test, but we'll see. What do we have here? I'm looking here. 21.9 for the Ferrari 458, 22.8 for the Ford GT, Gallardo 22.4, 22.254. The second fastest car, if I'm not mistaken. We had a few 22 low seconds, but those were bikes. So yeah, this is so far next to the Ferrari 458, the fastest accelerating circuit spec car. And that's yeah. So we have 4 specs here, and you can forget about the dirt spec because the Countryman is better in dirt. Performance, I don't know. It's either the Mini or the Countryman, but both of them being average. So circuit and street is definitely something to take in consideration from this Mini Cooper. Just forget about the other specs, I think. Let's see. As I said, let's look at the numbers here. Almost 1,000 kilometers I've done in this thing. And why is that? Well, it's pretty simple, because this is the car that I use if I do PvP in street spec. Rushmore, I take the Mini, not the Skyline. Air base assault, or whatever that race is called, I take the Mini and not the Skyline. I have been driving in the Skyline occasionally, more specifically on the longer tracks, something like Sprint to St. Louis, where you have long straights, not that twisty corners. Then the Skyline is probably the better one. The Skyline has a better acceleration, but it also, to my feeling, oversteers a bit too much, and that's why I go for the Mini. So the Mini is my street spec. Sometimes you have to go for the best spec available in the races. And yeah, in performance there is not that, the difference is a bit too big, so you have to go for the Huayra as being the best. If other people take the Huayra, you're dealing with decent drivers, then you have no other choice. If you want to have a go, then also go for the Huayra. You can try the LaFerrari, might keep up, but it lags here and there compared to the Huayra. So in performance it's the Huayra. In street it's not the case. In street you can go for the Skyline, which is probably the most used, because if not only for iconic reasons, it's also pretty good. But so is this Mini, and so personally I'm not a fan of the Subaru BRZ, but some people also like that one in street. Those are kind of the top 3 in street, in which order, matter of preferences I guess. For me it's the Mini, the Skyline, and then the BRZ comes quite a bit after that. Hardly any use that one. Most of the time I use this Mini, occasionally I take out the Skyline, but that's it. Other than that, when things matter in PvP, didn't mention it, but I did see it on the downhill there. We were doing 360 plus, so top speed not an issue. Top speed is good, the brakes is good. It's a little tricky handling occasionally. The Skyline suffers a bit from oversteer, this Mini suffers a bit from understeer, so although I prefer the oversteer, but seeing this is being so small and you're dealing with city tracks, I kinda prefer this one over the Skyline. But nevertheless, the Skyline is definitely good. 2 in street spec. Let's say it's one of the best street specs, let's put it that way, and then you can deal with it or according to your preferences. Jesus Christ. Getting more and more annoyed by that long list in performance. Only gonna get worse with calling all units if they bring more cars. They should really bring up some sort of search feature in that list, or at least be able to kinda lock the top 5 or something from your preferred cars. That you always have those on top of the lists. Meanwhile, we switch to the performance spec, and yeah, I think it's just it's small, so it probably won't have a problem with traffic and stuff like that. But brakes seems to be okay. Seeing it is small, you can really flick it around, but bit slow on acceleration, and we'll see about the top speeds. If that's not high enough, then we are dealing with an average performance spec. Bit unstable as well. Like I said, with the street spec, a little understeer, but I don't even know if it is understeer. It's sometimes you get oversteer, understeer. I think it's just a bit unstable. But it's not that much suffering from it in street spec. Of course, performance spec being faster, it suffers a bit more from it. Some understeer here though, and then we don't have the acceleration in this spec that we need. Probably one of those cars where you have to kind of spam the nitro boost on and on to kind of keep it going. It's a small fun thing, that's for sure, but yeah, also here two-wheel action, it's a bit unstable. Little tricky handling, let's call it that, as a minus. The brakes are good, let's see, top speed 380 already, should not be a problem. To go towards 400, nope, it's not a problem. So top speed it also has, brakes are good, it's a little tricky handling. And it lacks acceleration. I'm not gonna put that up on a minus because it has a really good acceleration in street and in circuit. But not in this performance, nor in the dirt spec. So now was thinking, where can you use it? Now we are talking about British qualifiers or something where you can use these things. But then you go and end up with a McLaren F1 with a Lotus XGs. Those things are way better in performance than this Mini. So no performance spec. Let's just forget about that and move on to the circuit spec. In the hands of the right driver, this circuit spec is competition for the better circuit specs. There are people following Ferraris and Lamborghinis in this thing. It's only 3/10 slower acceleration wise on a mild track than the Ferrari 458. It's 2/10 faster than a Lamborghini Gallardo. Brakes are good, handling is good. I've done almost 600 kilometers in this thing, so yeah, I have been using this. And not only in free drive. British qualifier circuit spec, you probably have to go for this one. The McLaren 12C in circuit spec, it's also pretty fast, but that's, well, that's a bit stiff. And then this is smaller, you can flick it around more easily. It's a little tricky handling, but it's less suffering from it, especially than in performance, but also a bit less than in street spec, so not really suffering from it once you get the hang of it. If you drive a couple of miles and kilometers with this thing, get some experience with the car, it's pretty good. We're already going towards 410. And that's probably the biggest issue, the top speeds. It's good. I think it can reach 430 something with some slipstream from friends or anything. That's where it probably lacks compared to Ferraris who can do 440 plus and Lamborghinis and Salines who can do 450 plus. So yes, the best use is definitely street and circuit specs. Performance I would just leave that be, and also the dirt spec. I would just leave that one be. This one lacks acceleration and also top speed, I think. Other than that, it is small, so you probably can throw it around over those dirt roads. But coming out of the corners, you are gonna lack some acceleration. And I know that the Countryman is better in dirt spec, seeing that is sort of the off-road version of this Mini. And even that one is not that superb compared to the competition in this game. So no. Top speed seems to be okay. So that is something that it does have in dirt, but acceleration is going to be a problem compared to BMW X6, Rough, even the Skyline, which are probably the better specs. Well, for some for sure. It's not going to be on the bottom of the list if you compare all the dirt specs. Somewhere in the middle, I think. Just like the performance one, the dirt will somewhere be in the middle of the pack. But it's a small little car, so you can have some fun with it on certain dirt roads, I'm pretty sure of that. But it's more of a free drive thing. I'm always looking for the best use in summit events or something, and nope. Well, of course, if you are dealing with the British qualifier, well, I'm thinking, then you're probably going to end up with this one or the Countryman as your options. Can't immediately think about another dirt spec for British cars. McLarens don't have dirt specs, TVR doesn't have dirt specs, Lotus don't have dirt specs. So then you're gonna end up with the middies. And in that case, the Countryman will be better than the Mini Cooper here. But as you can see, it works and it keeps going, it just lacks some acceleration. And a bit tricky handling, so you have to correct it here and there. Losing speed, and then you need acceleration to get back to speed, which you don't have on this car. Which makes it an average dirt spec. So, nope. Street spec, one of the best in the game. Circuit spec, definitely an option. Also, probably top 5 even in circuit spec. Might depend a bit on the track. Definitely something you have to consider using. Circuit and street spec. This is competition for the Skyline. This dirt spec, just let it be or have some fun with it in free drive, and the same goes for the performance spec. They have good brakes, they have top speed. Just a little tricky handling, and for the dirt and performance spec they also lack acceleration. Street and circuit is more than okay, circuit is even pretty good in acceleration, as well as the street. So the two sides on this car. Street and circuit, one of the best. Dirt and performance, only average. And even limited to qualifiers like British ones. The Countryman will be better in dirt than this one, so nope. Let's see what we can get it from this, but 300 something, 350 maybe. We're talking 320 plus, 330 plus even. On some of the dirt specs, so Topspeed is not bad. There are better ones, so just forget about this one. Street and circuit is definitely something you can use. Street being one of the top contenders in street spec, and circuit sorta goes the same. Can't keep up with Ferraris and Lamborghinis, just a bit tricky handling. Other than that, pretty good car for, let's say, half of the specs, the other half just leave them be. We'll see you guys in the next one, and bye for now.